Good morning, everyone. We're just going to give it another minute for others to join, and then we'll get started. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thanks, everyone, for joining us this morning. This is our second virtual town hall for the board. And this one, we're going to give a little background just about the board and about who we are. So we're going to start with our board overview and our Q&A. This is information that is on our website. But we're going to start off with what is the purpose of the board. And the purpose of our board is one thing and one thing only, and that is consumer protection. We actually are required by law to make consumer protection our top priority. And so that's whenever we do anything, we always keep consumer protection at the forefront, making sure that that's what we are focusing on. Who makes up the membership of our board? The board consists of 13 members, actually. And we just became 13 members just last year. And those members are public members, as well as we have a member from each of our licensing categories. We do have a couple of vacancies on our board right now. Hopefully those will be filled soon, and we'll have a licensee from each of our license types that we issue. What does the executive officer do? That's me. So I think I might have failed to introduce myself. My name's Christy Underwood, and I am the executive officer of the board. I am appointed by the board, and I oversee all the daily operations of the board, including enforcement, exams, licensing, and administrative functions. I have a deputy executive officer who's on the call with us today, Carrie Harris. She'll also be helping me join in and answer questions here in just a few minutes. How are board meetings held? So the board meetings are, we meet quarterly, and we meet in different locations in California. We meet in usually in the Sacramento area, the Los Angeles area, the San Diego area, and then depending on where that fourth meeting falls, sometimes it's in Sacramento again, or in the LA area again. And they are open to the public. They are always have public comment on every agenda item that we talk. And then we also have a section for public comment that the public can address the board on anything that's not on the agenda. Why are board members not allowed to respond to questions during the public comment period? So board meetings are held under the Bagley-Keene Open Meetings Act. So this means that everything that the board discusses has to be properly placed on the agenda. And board members are supposed to take comments from the public, but a board meeting isn't the area for engagement or debate with board members. So they take everything that the public says, but according to the Bagley-Keene Open Meeting Act, we can't engage in those conversations during our public board meeting. And why doesn't the board advocate for the industry? This became very apparent to us when we were in our COVID lockdowns, that people were upset that we were not advocating for them. And that's not actually our role. We are not licensee advocates. We are consumer protection. And while you do pay your licensing fees to us, it's not our role to advocate for the industry. In fact, it would be totally inappropriate for us to do that. Now, while we do want to work with the industry to strengthen our goal of consumer protection, advocating for the industry is really what your associations do. So If you have an association in your area, or a national association, those are the groups that you would lean to support and advocate for the industry. We work with all those groups. We believe we have great partnerships with the industry associations. But again, our role is consumer protection. So this is a little bit about our board units that we have. We have our licensing and examinations unit. So as many of you know that are probably on this call today, if you are a licensee, you had to go through an application process, and then you had to be approved to take that, take that examination. So we have staff here in Sacramento that process all those applications. It's thousands of applications a week. And then we approve you to go sit for that examination. The examination is intended to test minimal competency. So again, it's the state's role to make sure you're being safe once you're out in the industry. It's not our role to make sure that you're going to become the most successful manicurist in the state. Our role is to make sure that you're going to be the safest you can be. So our examinations test minimal competency, making sure you're safe. And then our next unit is our enforcement unit. They take all of our consumer complaints and they investigate those complaints, and they ultimately will work with the Attorney General's office in order to take formal discipline on a license. So if a licensee is found for causing harm to a consumer, repeated acts of unlicensed activity, or repeated violations of health and safety, that's when we will take time to go to the Attorney General's office to take formal discipline on a license. That formal discipline could be placing that licensee on probation or revoking that license altogether. And then we have our inspections unit, which we have a team of inspectors throughout California. They conduct inspections in establishments. Those inspections can be routine or they can be directed. So a directed inspection is when the enforcement unit has a complaint and they need to send that inspector out there to determine if certain violations are present. So our inspectors are out in the field every day, sometimes in the evening, sometimes on the weekends, and either doing routine inspections or looking for something specifically that enforcement has sent them out there for. So we have on the screen our Barber Cosmo website. It's barbercosmo.ca.gov. We have a lot of information on our website. We always encourage people to go to the website first, before trying to contact us by phone. If any of you have tried that, I'm gonna take a drink of something real quick. You may know that you have a wait time, or if you have emailed us, we get thousands of emails a day. So our email turnaround time is about 8 to 10 days, sometimes a little longer. You will get a response, but it could take some time because of our volume of work that we have. And so go onto our website. We have a lot of information on our website. You can do license lookup, you can file a complaint, you can find exam information and frequently asked questions, and any information we have on board meetings. So we really encourage you to stay informed of anything that the board does. And by doing that, you want to subscribe to the board's interested parties email list. You will get information sent directly to your email on board meetings, on any regulation changes that happen. We're required to send information out to the board's email list. As some of you may know, you may be on this meeting because you got an email based on either being on this list, or we've sent a lot of emails out just to licensees that we happen to have their email address. So we're trying to increase our communication with you all. But this is also a great way to make sure that you get information about board meetings and public participation opportunities. Sometimes we're looking for people to help us with task forces. So all of this information would be sent directly to you if you subscribe to this email list, which the link is on our website. All right, and follow us on board social media. We have our Facebook page, we have Twitter, and we have Instagram. We are trying to really increase our presence on all of social media. And so we're always posting tips, we're posting notifications of board meetings, of town halls like this. So pick whichever social media you're comfortable with and you're going to find us there. So like us on those pages and you will get additional information through our social media and also some great tips on staying safe. All right, so at our last town hall, we had a lot of questions. So for this town hall, we are going to open it up earlier for questions. We have staff available to help you. And so we are going to turn it over to our moderator. We're going to open this up for a question and they will explain how to make that happen.
All right, so for today, we're taking raised hands. Everybody is going to get an opportunity to speak once before other people get a chance to speak a second time. And did we have a time limit for questions today?
We'd like to keep it to maybe 2 to 3 questions on your first go around. You're welcome to try to get back in line, but we want to try to get to as many people as you can. So if you could just kind of not so much a timeline, but try to keep it to 2 to 3 questions max.
All right, and our first question looks like it's going to come from Annette. Hold on just a moment. I'm going to send you a request to unmute your microphone.
Good morning, thank you. Good morning, thank you. I'd like to know if, as a licensed cosmetologist, if there's still a ruling for not being able to perform a lash lift as well as nano channeling without needles.
Carrie, you want to take that?
So lash lifts, if there's an FDA approved product that you're using, then you can provide that service. And there's a bulletin on our website that talks about that the product.
That's tinting, Carrie.
But the lash lifts is the same. You have to have a FDA approved product in order to do that. And then the second question was about the nano with no needles. You cannot use needles. So if you have the, it's like a plastic little pyramids, you can use that, but not the needles.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Annette. Next, we're going to go to Roger. Hold on, Roger. We're going to send you a request to unmute your microphone. And my apologies to our dial-in callers, our dial-in users. *3 is how you're going to raise your hand. Hold on. Roger, here we go. You should receive a request in just a second to unmute your microphone. All right, Roger, I see that you're unmuted, but I haven't heard you yet. Shelby, if we could get an audio text slide up. Perfect, thank you. Oh, Roger, you muted yourself. Hang on. We're going to give you another opportunity to unmute. And if we can't figure it out right away, we're going to hear from Colleen next and come back to Roger. Roger, did I hear a little thump from your audio? Sounded like you may have unplugged something and plugged it back in. All right, Colleen, if you want to put that hand back up so I can find you easily, we'll call on you next, and we'll come back to Roger in just a second. There are no other hands raised at the moment. Hi, Roger. Is that you? We heard you for just a second, Roger. We'll keep working on it, Roger. You're the only one in line at the moment. All right, I see Annette has raised her hand. We're going to give Annette an opportunity to speak. Welcome back, Annette.
Hi, thank you. Also, I wanted to know what the ruling is for lash extensions.
If your question is who can do them,
Yes.
cosmetologists and estheticians can both do lash extensions.
Okay, and the product does not have to be an FDA approved product?
It does not.
Okay, and now, has it changed for lash tinting as well and eyebrow tinting?
So on the lash and eyebrow tinting, it is you have to have a product that has
Silver nitrate.
silver nitrate, thank you, in the ingredients. So the product ingredient has to list silver nitrate, and then it would be acceptable. If it doesn't have silver nitrate, then the FDA states that that is not safe for use around the eyes.
Okay, so silver nitrate. All right.
Right.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you, Annette. We have call-in user 15. I'm going to send you a request to unmute your microphone. You will probably be asked to dial *6 to unmute. And Roger, I'm going to go ahead and open up some chat for you. Maybe we can get some text going. Caller 15, I'm sending you a request to unmute your microphone.
Hello. Hello.
Welcome.
For whatever reason, WebEx is not allowing me to, I'm sorry, I'm getting feedback here, but it's not allowing me to type anything in as it did last time. But my question was, the questions that were remaining from the prior meeting, town hall, were those going to be, are those going to be part of today or? Hello?
They are not.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so we can forget those and move on. Is that correct?
Unfortunately, we had so many questions that we
Yes.
couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
if you had that, we'll hopefully get to it eventually.
Yes, no worries. I can wait. I'm sure you're going to have. Do you have an idea of when the next town, how far in the future the next town meeting would be, so that I can probably type stuff in that from
we're trying to do them more often, so hopefully in the next couple of months we'll have another one.
Okay. So I can just wait till then. Thank you. I'm going to get off the phone now because I'm talking and watching. So thank you so much. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you, caller 15. Adrian, you are next. Roger, we've opened up chat if that helps you communicate with us a little bit better. And for anyone else, we will try and address questions in chat. We'd prefer audio. All right, here we go, Adrian.
Hi, I am a cosmetologist working in the salon. I wanted to know about the procedure of our shears. is it acceptable for the shears in a leather pouch? And if so, does it have to be marked soiled or unsoiled? Um, and or what is acceptable for the placement of our shears?
You want to take that one?
So disinfected shears have to be cannot be put in those leather pouches because the pouches cannot be clean. If you're putting them in the leather pouch, they would need to be that pouch would need to be labeled soiled. We do not encourage licensees to use those pouches because they cannot be disinfected. And it's one of the things that gets cited fairly often when licensees use it.
Okay. So with the shears, I'm sure, as you know, to help with the longevity is to not have them sort of in the same place, touching each other or clanking together. So what is the suggestion for the correct or to not get cited?
So if it's soiled, if the shears are soiled, they should be in a container labeled soiled. And they should not be placed in a container, pouch, or holder that cannot be disinfected if they're disinfected. And if they are disinfected, they should be
In the clean.
So yes, in the place labeled clean.
Mm-hmm.
Clean covered place that is labeled clean or disinfected.
Got it. So for the clippers, should we keep the barbicide out on the counter in case an inspector comes? I know how we're supposed to place those, but as far as the disinfectant, is that something that still needs to happen?
You're talking about the spray can?
Correct. On the counter, should it still be?
It's not required that you leave it out on the counter, but it would be required if you were using dirty shears to clean that with that product before you use them.
Correct. Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's the only questions I have for now.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you, Adrian. I have seen Tiffany's hand go up and down several times. Tiffany, if you are looking to make a comment, please raise that hand again. All right. Here we go. Tiffany, I'm going to send you a request to unmute your microphone.
Morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Oh, I was just wanting to piggyback or share help with Carrie and the question, and that's all. I just couldn't type in anything in the chat, so I was just trying to add in. I am the site and fine and inspections manager, so the things I see that come across as well. So I just wanted to help out. That's all. I didn't know. So with the question, because
Tiffany.
yeah, with the soiled shears, because what I commonly see, what commonly comes across my desk, and the common things that I hear from the site and fine analyst as well with the soiled shears is that yes, because they cannot be stored in a container that cannot be disinfected. If they're clean, then that's going to be identified by the inspector as a violation because the clean shears are stored in a container that cannot be disinfected. If they were soiled shears and stored in a container like the pouches, then the pouch must be labeled as soiled or it will not clearly indicate that that is for the storage of a soiled shear. So you'd want that soiled shear to be in a soiled container. But as Carrie said, it's advisable to just not have the pouch because if the sticker falls off or it's hard to identify, it can be, it can create confusion and end up in a violation of storing clean shears, even, in a pouch that cannot be disinfected. So I just wanted to piggyback on.
My
Thank you,
apologies, Tiffany. feel free to unmute yourself again and finish that sentence.
Oh, I don't know where I was heard. I just was saying that was just, I wanted to just piggyback on that. That was all. And then with the clippers, it's just that it's in a clean, identifiably clean area. Don't, you just want it to be noticeably clean. That was, that was it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Roger, we're gonna circle back to you, see if you would like to have another opportunity to speak. Again, chat is open for anyone who is having audio troubles. We welcome you to type in chat, and you will find chat in the lower left or lower right corner of your screen. Um, it will probably say chat. There's a little bubble with a tilde at the end of it for speaking if you are using a mobile device. Roger, I think I heard you speak.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, please.
All right. I just want to know. Sorry about that. I'm calling in, but I was trying to do it on my laptop. It wasn't working. I have a criminal history, and I want to know would that affect me getting a license?
Can we take that?
Go ahead, Carrie.
Okay. It really depends on what your convictions were. Have you gone to school yet?
I've started.
Okay. So, the school can send us like a pre-application form that will let us know like what kind of convictions you have, and then we can review those, and then we can let you and or the school know that no, these particular criminal convictions will not prevent you from applying for a license, or yes, this would prevent you from getting your application approved. Just because you get a letter that says that your application's been denied because of your criminal convictions doesn't mean that you can't appeal that decision. If you are have convictions that we have said no, your application's denied, you can appeal that, and then you can go before an administrative law judge and tell your side of the story, and then an administrative law judge will make the final determination as to whether or not you should be allowed to take the exam and get your license. I would say about 98% of the people that have convictions that submit an application are approved. So I would encourage you to work with the school to send in that form so that we can see what you have, and then build your confidence that you'll be able to take the exam and get your license when you're done with school.
Okay, thank you. I've sent in the application. How long does the process take?
It can take a few weeks because it has to go through the mail process and then be sorted and then get to the person who reviews them. So it can take 3 to 4 weeks before you get a response. When did you send it in?
I've sent it in about a month and a half ago.
Okay. Can you send an email to barbercosmo.ca.gov? And what was your name?
Roger Little.
Okay, Roger, I'll look it up. And if you could send an email to my attention, I will get back to you.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thanks, Roger.
All right, wonderful. Next we have Myra Garcia. Hold on just a moment. We're going to send you a request to unmute your microphone.
Hi, Carrie. Can you give an example of what would be cause for denial for a criminal disclosure?
Sure. Sometimes murder, depending on the circumstances. Most often, people with convictions related to sexual assaults are denied, their applications are denied.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you. And next we're going to go to caller 20. And just a reminder for our other callers out there, *3 to raise your hand. And Caller 20, in a moment, you'll be asked to dial *6 to unmute. All right, caller 20, I think I heard you.
Oh, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, great. So can an esthetician use the ThermoClear machine? They claim that it is not radio frequency. They claim that it's high frequency and that it's used to improve benign.
Caller 20, I
Yes.
think we lost you. It's used to improve what?
To improve skin imperfections and that it stays on the epidermis. And ThermoClear is selling these machines to estheticians all over California. So I want to clarify that it is okay. In their literature, though, it claims that it is high frequency, not radio frequency.
So everything that you mentioned would be acceptable. We don't recommend actual machines, but what you said, that high frequency, not going below the epidermis, would all be within scope of an esthetician.
Okay. Okay, great. All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, caller 20. Next, we are going to go to Dahuit Wheeler. Hold on just a moment. I hope I said your name correctly. We're sending you a request to unmute your microphone.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Just a quick question. I want some clarification in regards to the requirements for laundry storage. Could you tell me, in regards to sheets and towels, the proper storage, and in specific to sheets, if they need to be stored in an enclosed space once put into a laundry bag, or if there's some other type of storage that is required? And that's for both soiled, obviously, and clean.
All right, give us 1 second. So any towels that have been laundered, let's see, must be stored in a clean closed cabinet or a clean closed container. So all your clean linens have to be stored in a clean closed container. That container can be a cabinet, it can be a tub with a lid, but it does have to be in a clean closed container. And then any ones that have been used shall also be deposited in a closed container, and then of course not used until properly laundered.
Okay, so for sheets in particular, if they're put in a bag, many times the sheets are delivered wrapped in plastic, and until used, they can be stored, as you said, in a clean closed container. They can't be just wrapped in plastic, stored in a room, for example. They have to be in a clean closed container, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and then also if they are soiled, once they're put in a bag or say a hamper that has a lid, that would be acceptable, a hamper with a lid, or
Yes.
would they also be able to be put in a bag provided by the company and do they need to be put basically inside another area separate, for example, a closed area?
Well, the regulation states that they have to be placed in a closed container.
Okay.
So I wouldn't put them in just the bag, even though some of those bags you can try to cinch them closed, but there's going to be more of a chance of them being left open. And the law does say that they have to be in a closed container.
In a closed container. So in a closed container or in a closed room within a bag that's sealed, so to speak.
It says closed container.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Next, we're going to hear from Annette. Hold on just a moment. we're sending you a request to unmute your microphone.
Hi again, thank you. What is the board's take on medical pedicures, and is the state of California considering an advanced esthetician license? And does it acknowledge another state's advanced esthetician license to be able to work in the medical field?
So you have a few loaded questions there. So I'll start with the medical pedicure. Our position is that that does not exist. A pedicure is a pedicure, and you must be a licensed manicurist or a cosmetologist in order to perform a pedicures. You have to be very careful to cross that line into the medical field. We understand there's growing business models of people working with podiatrists, but as a licensee of our board, you cannot cross that scope. For instance, you cannot remove ingrown toenails as a manicurist, and it does not matter if the podiatrist or a physician is telling you to do so. You cannot do it. It is a medical practice. So we do not believe that there is such thing as a medical pedicure. I'm pretty confident that most medical boards under our department would agree with that. Going into advanced aesthetics, there is nothing being pursued at this time for an advanced aesthetic license. We do understand that other states do have that. And if a person were coming into California and wanting to become an esthetician here, they probably could with that background, but they would still in California be licensed as an esthetician and have to follow our scope of practice. So no needles, no types of advanced skincare that is allowed in some of the other states.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I've gone ahead and put Carrie's email in chat for Roger, and I have put a list of all the boards and bureaus, or the link to the list of all the boards and bureaus under the Department of Consumer Affairs in chat as well. Next, we're going to hear from Adrian Black. Hold on just a moment. I'm sending you a request to unmute your microphone.
Hi, so another salon question. Do we need a sign posted, like a general one sign posted in the salon with the salon prices when we are renters? We're all individual in the salon. So what is, if anything, what is the appropriate thing to do with that? Mm-hmm.
The board doesn't have any regulations regarding what signs you have to post when it comes to your pricing.
Oh, okay.
The information that we send out to all the licensees regarding pricing is about gender pricing discrimination. So the only thing, and that's not our law, but we are required to provide that information. And that just basically says that if for the same service, for the same exact service, you can't charge a man and a woman a different price.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. My second question is mobile, like a mobile salon done like in the, like a mobile home? Just something that I'm hearing about. What is the Bureau's take on that?
So a mobile salon is one like you kind of described that could be in a mobile home or a large van
Mm-hmm.
that goes from place to place and provides services inside
Mm-hmm.
that vehicle.
Yes.
We do have a license, a mobile unit. We have a mobile unit application that you can use to apply for that license. And it has certain requirements that you can find in our rules and regs, but we do have a license for those types of units.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you, Adrian. And if there's anyone else who would like to ask a question, oh, I see caller 10. Hold on just a moment. And that's a good time to remind everybody that *3 will allow dial-in users to raise their hand. So caller 10, I'm going to send you a request to unmute your microphone, and you should be asked to dial *6 to unmute.
Hi, my name is Juliet. I'm an esthetician. I was hoping for a clarification on cleaning supplies in the bathroom. Can they be in a cupboard or can we not have any cleaning supplies at all? That's my one question.
You cannot have any cleaning supplies in your bathroom. The bathroom can only have like basic toiletries within it, extra toilet paper, things like that, but there cannot be any types of chemicals stored in the bathroom.
So, like simple, can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so simple clean products like that or bleach you're saying is not allowed in the bathroom?
Correct.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Second question in regards to equal rights, equal pricing for men and women. I feel like it's a little bit of a gray area because they said that in that discriminatory paper, there's discussion about if the service takes longer. So can you guys clarify what does that exactly mean? Like, for example, Brazilians, male and female.
My understanding is it would be the same service. So if you're using the same amount of supplies and it's taking the same amount of time, then the service would need to be charged the same.
But if it says male Brazilian, female Brazilian, but one takes longer, so one might take a half an hour, male Brazilian might take 45 minutes, then that there you can have a different price.
It's not the same exact service if it takes longer and is using more supplies.
Great. Okay. Okay, that's all my questions. Thank you so much.
And also, we do want to mention that the gender information is not really under our scope to oversee, but you can contact the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing. We've put that information in the chat, and they would be able to answer any specific questions about the Gender Tax Repeal Act.
Can I ask a question about disinfecting product? If I usually disinfect in the bathroom, let's say to my utensils, so I want to have the disinfectant in the bathroom, but you're telling me that I can't do that. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, caller 10.
That's all my questions.
Next, we're going to hear from Michael. Hold on just a moment. We're going to send you a request to unmute your microphone.
Having me today. My name's Michael. I also I'm an educator and a salon owner, and I deal a lot with students that come out of cosmetology school. And my direct application with them is haircutting, and I find that the skills that they come out with aren't the basics that we're looking for in salons. And I understand that the state is concerned about the consumer and the safety of the consumer. I was wondering if the state would be willing to up their standards for haircutting, just to teach like basic scissor control, or just teaching basic theory of direction, texture, and layering, graduation, and just having like maybe like an online course for that, just so the students are better prepared. Because what we're finding is when they come out of school, they have to do a lot of advanced training just to get their skills up to speed to deal with customers. And the complaint that I get from the students is, why didn't I learn this in beauty school? So I wanted to see if the board had a suggestion I could give the students, because if they have to get advanced education, if they pay for it again, and they just came out of beauty school and they paid like 9,000 to 20,000. Like, why do I have to pay for extra education? So I'm at a loss for an answer for them. So if you could help with that.
Well, unfortunately, we do not have oversight of schools. Our oversight of schools is very limited. And so we aren't able to really look at schools to determine the quality of education that's being offered. That's another entity. So we've heard that as well. And it's unfortunate. It's definitely something that our board is continuing to look at. Especially with some of our pass rates, we're looking into schools that have continuously had low pass rates. And we're working with the Bureau of Private Post-Secondary on what we can do to address some of these schools where the students are coming out and haven't really learned even safety, but have basically learned just to pass the exam. So it's something that we're looking at. We're limited in what our authority is and what our authority gives us the ability to do in the school environment, but it's definitely an ongoing discussion with our board.
So I guess my question would be is like, you know, with what we do, what I have, like, how can I help? Because what I'm asking for is more on the test part, like the written part, because it's not necessarily practical skills that we need to teach the students in the beginning. It's also theory. So it's something that I'm thinking you could do on the written part of the test and be part of just a question and answer, just, you know, what are layers, what's graduation, what's the difference, what gives you movement, you know, even practical, like, you know, just how do you hold your scissors properly. It just like just basic stuff. I'm not looking to get the kids like 100%, you know, knowing how to cut hair, but just the basic fundamentals of there's 9 basic shapes. They don't even know that there's 9 basic shapes. They know there's 3 primary colors, but they don't even know, you know, there's layers, graduation, and lines. It's just, so that's more of a theory part of it, where I feel we could maybe make an online program that they could do. We have that already, like they could do on their own, but if they do that on their own, then they have to pay for it. But it's something that maybe the state could provide while they're doing their cosmetology license, and just as far as like theory, again, not so much practical, because I get that's experience and that has to do with working and practice, but the theory itself, it's a book, and it's yeah, I mean, we're learning stuff already in beauty school, so it's just a matter of adding an extra chapter, a couple of chapters in on haircutting.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
if
I
it's not
definitely
about,
hear you. It's not, again, the legislature reduced the hours last year, and also eliminated the practical exam, really focusing that the state is responsible for safety and not so much technique. So I do, I hear what you say. I definitely recommend you tune into our board meetings and bring those concerns up at the board level as well. Like I said, hopefully we'll move forward, but at this time I don't really have an answer to your question. I apologize.
no problem. No, that's fine. I get it. Like, it's been an ongoing issue for years. Like, I've been in the industry for 30 years, so I get it. But it's like, okay, so again, I'm willing to help. I'm willing to put some time in. Just give me direction who I can talk to, like maybe give advice or consult with or do a collaboration with, because we have material that I wouldn't mind sharing. It's just I don't know who to share it with.
I would definitely go to the next board meeting and talk during public comment.
Okay, so how would I get there? Just
join
my
our
email
interested parties list. We do put our next board meeting will be here in Sacramento on July
17th.
17th. Thank you.
Mhm.
And then the next one after that will be in October in the LA area, October 16th, and it'll probably be in San Diego, I believe, is where we go next. So we do post all that information online, and we you can get on our interested parties list, and you'll get the agenda as well emailed to you.
Okay, and then when you do there at the, so basically if it's in Sacramento, it's in Sacramento. It's not online, or is it like a virtual like this?
It is in person, actually. We have just lost the ability to do virtual meetings, but hopefully there's some legislation that might give us that back. But as for right now, our board meetings will be in person.
Okay, so I'm in Los Angeles, so I guess would I wait for October 16th, or should I travel to Sacramento for the 17th?
It's totally up to you.
Okay. And then as far as the board, like who would I be looking to speak with or like converse with?
So the board meetings have a section at the end of every meeting where it's just open public comment. That's where you can just make a statement to the board. For anything further than that, you might want to email us directly and we can put you in contact with either Carrie or myself, or we could talk directly.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think in the beginning you had said there was like specific board members for each part of the industry. So I'm assuming there's a haircutting board member.
There is, yes.
Yeah, so maybe like a collaborate. We have information. I'm willing to share it with everybody. It's just a matter of who do I give it to, and can we make a test out of it, or I mean, I don't know how simple it is.
So
but
we wouldn't be able to do any of that without legislation. So
Okay.
for the board to do any of that, it would take a change in legislation for us to do that.
How possible is that?
I would personally say it's going to be a tough situation right now, since the legislature just reduced our hours and took away our practical exam.
Yeah, okay, understood. Thanks for the honesty. Understood. So your recommendation would be just to talk to the board about it then, yeah?
I would just make your comments known to the board.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you, Michael. I have added links to the chat for Barber Cosmo meetings and the Barber Cosmo Contact Us page. Next on the list, we have present Erica Olive. Forgive me for the last name. Olivera. Here we go. I'm going to send you a request to unmute your microphone. Present, are you with us?
Good morning, present. Erica?
Hello, welcome.
Hi there. First of all, my question is regarding, I'm manicurist. I'm present in school at Federico. My question is, can I do any practices at home, like my own self, or because I'm going to school and I'm working through the school license, I'm only allowed to practice at school? I just need resources regarding that.
You can practice all you want on yourself. You cannot charge anyone for a fee for a service. Sweet. So if you're at home and you want to practice on a family member, you can certainly do that. You cannot charge anyone for those fees, or you can't charge anybody for those service. You can't go out to other people's houses and charge for services. But you can obviously practice on like a family member or something like that.
Understood. I have another question. When is this going to be uploaded on YouTube? Because this is my first time actually being present on a meeting like this, and I really appreciate all this resource, to be honest. And also too, I've been actually viewing your guys' videos, and it's been helping me. So do you guys post them like right away? So the dates that are on there, because I seen the one on February 6th, 2023. And yeah, and also too on December 23, I believe they're talking about the books, right? The literature on upgrading on the books. So the books that are being provided at the moment, we're gonna have to upgrade to, what is it called? Ladies 14th edition.
So thank you for those comments. We're happy that our information is helping you. We will post this information in about 2 weeks on our website. It usually takes about that much time for it to get uploaded. But I'm not sure about if you had a question about the actual textbooks. The textbooks are referenced by the examination developer So it would be whatever is listed in the candidate information bulletin.
Understood. I just wanted to make sure that the information that was provided, I'm actually understanding it. So this is regarding the cosmetology books, right?
Any book that's used for the exam development is referenced on the candidate information bulletin.
Understood. So that was actually 3 questions, and you provided already all 3. I really appreciate your guys' time, and enjoy the rest of your time.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you for that. Next, we have Lydia Justice. Hold on just a moment. We're going to send you a request to unmute your microphone. And dial-in users, don't forget *3 to raise your hand, and we will call on you next. Lydia, I see that you've unmuted. Next, we have Adrian, caller 10, and then caller 23 in line. Go ahead, Lydia.
Hi, this is Lydia Justice. Thank you for taking my call. I have a question on tattooing ink. Possibly that's been contaminated with condensation to create mold that creates havoc. So can you give me some information on that if you have any information on that? I heard it on the radio, so I don't have any information on that.
Carrie, you want to take that one?
Sure. The board doesn't regulate tattooing. And so we wouldn't have any information regarding that. You might want to reach out to your local county or city health department, as they usually regulate the tattooing industries in their cities and counties.
Okay, so you don't have anything on the condensation of
Nope.
molds or anything? Okay.
Nope.
All right, thank you for answering.
Sorry.
Okay,
Thank you.
bye-bye.
All right, thank you, Lydia. Next, we're going to hear from Adrian. Hold on just a moment. We're going to send you a request to unmute your microphone.
Okay. 2 questions, one salon based. The alcohol spray that we use to spray down areas for disinfection, is that still, after COVID, is that still valid to do that? I'll go with that first question.
I believe, and Carrie, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was a COVID recommendation, and it is not currently in our laws and regulations, so it's not something we're regulating.
Okay. And the second question is braiding. Is braiding in regulation? I know it's in regulation if we do that in the salon, but if you're not braiding a hairstyle in the salon and you're going to get paid for it at a home, is that out of regulation?
So braiding is exempt. If you're doing just braiding, you can do that in a salon and you do not have to be licensed. You can do that at home and that would be acceptable as well. The problem is with braiding is as soon as you take one step into the scope of a cosmetologist, is that's when it becomes problematic. So if you are a braider and you only use your hands to braid the hair, that is totally exempt. But if you wash the hair,
okay,
you've just crossed into being a cosmetologist. So you just have to be really clear on what the braiders are doing. But somebody who's doing braiding only in a salon is acceptable and they do not have to be licensed.
Oh, that makes sense. Great. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian. Next, we're going to hear from caller 10. Hold on just a moment. We're going to send you a request to unmute your microphone, and you will be asked to dial *6 to unmute in all likelihood.
Hi, this is Juliet again. I have a question in regards to the new scope of practice allows estheticians to use electrical tools all over the body. So can you clarify, can we use clippers, can we use trimmers, and can we do this from head to toe now, exempt, the top of the head? That's one question.
Carrie, do you have that?
Did you say for estheticians or cosmetologists?
Estheticians.
That's what I thought you said. But then you started talking about clippers. So then I got confused. What are you trying to do?
So the new scope of practice allows estheticians to use electrical tools all over the body. And I want to clarify that we can use clippers or trimmers, for example, say back hair.
So okay. Are you doing that to remove hair? So the scope of practice for an esthetician is to remove superfluous hair from the body of any person using depilatories, tweezers, sugaring, non-prescription chemical or waxing, or by the use of devices or appliances of any kind or description, except by the use of lasers or light waves, which are commonly known as rays.
So does that include electrical tools such as clippers or trimmers if I wanted to trim someone's back hair?
Well, that's trimming hair. That's not removing hair.
Okay, so can you give me an example of what I can use if I did not? It says electrical tools, so that's where I'm kind of confused. So we're allowed to use electrical tools, but what is that?
It doesn't specifically say electrical tools. It says by use of devices or appliances of any kind or description. It doesn't say anything specific about electrical tools.
Right.
So, but it's any kind of device. So
For removing
hair.
For removing superfluous hair.
Okay. So why couldn't I use that I guess it's not necessarily removing it, but I don't know. I feel like that's a little bit of a gray.
I think you're right. It does seem a gray, and it's something we could look at maybe clarifying in our regulations. If that's a practice that estheticians use by using clippers to remove hair, I think it's something we need to consider and we need to clarify.
Yeah. So for example, male back hair, like that's a service that I want to offer. I don't think that all men necessarily want to remove all their hair by the root. And so I'd like to give them an option. And some, for as a maintenance thing, every 10 weeks, I'd like to trim a full body of male hair or hair on a male. And I can do this with clippers. Great question.
I think we'll definitely look at that and try to get clarification from that. I don't think you would be cited for that. You want to make sure you, of course, make sure you follow and clean everything accordingly. But it's something we can look at making clear.
Okay. And then second question, you guys added sugaring to what students have to learn at school. Is it the same as waxing where they just kind of give you a little bit of an understanding, but you're not really confident when you leave, or is it new? Like updated, and there's a certain amount of hours that they have to sugar or practice sugaring in school?
I don't believe the curriculum is specific to say you have to have a certain number of hours for sugaring or any, the number of operations has been eliminated as well. So it really would probably depend on the school that someone attends to see how far they want to go into teaching sugaring.
So for the practical test, I know that schools are responsible for that. Now, is there a competency? Like with waxing, I did it with the state. So, I had to go and show that I could, wax on my mom, who's the model. But are they still going to be responsible to learn how to do like basic things like removing armpit hair, removing eyebrow hair with sugar? Or again, you're telling me there's no specifics to that?
I am not familiar if sugaring is on the exam. It certainly could be because it's within the scope of practice. And when the exam is developed, it's developed using subject matter experts from the industry. I don't know the exam, so I don't personally know if sugaring is on the examination today or not. And again, we're not over schools to the point to where we can enforce them teaching a certain amount of time of sugaring.
Okay. How do I follow up with these, these two matters? Just like, for example, if I wanted to hire someone coming right out of school, what are my expectations for them?
Well, if you want to hire someone, keep in mind that you're hiring someone and you have a role to protect the public. So you want to make sure if you're hiring somebody for sugaring, you want to make sure that that person can perform that service safely. However, an employer sees fit to do that. A lot of people test people out once they have that license. A lot of salons might have someone come in, even though they're fully licensed, but come in as an assistant to begin with. So it's up to to you, but just keep in mind that as a salon owner, as an employer, you do have a responsibility to protect the public and anything that goes on in your salon.
Okay, so basically you're telling me that they might know about sugaring, but they might not necessarily know how to do sugaring on a basic level coming out of school, and that they may have to consider continuing education. Like the school's not responsible to make sure they're competent in sugaring. That's, I guess, what I'm asking. I just want to make sure that's clarified.
Well, we can't really answer to the school. We answer to the fact that we test people for competency and safety. So, and hearing from some of the callers previously, there is that concern out there that people are coming out of school that have been taught to only pass the test. So I would keep that in mind as an employer that they might need additional education.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And then with the, just following up with that other question, just making sure that, how can I follow up regarding the trimming of body hair?
You can always email us. We have listed our email in the chat. You can go to our website and you can see under the contact us the link so that you can send us an email and then we'll get back to you on that as well.
Thank you again.
Thanks.
All right, thank you, caller 10. Next, we're going to hear from caller 23, Annie Guzman, and then Annette. Hold on, caller 23. We're going to send you a request to unmute your microphone in just a second. As a quick reminder to all of our callers, you can raise your hand by dialing *3 and get in line for your questions. All right, caller 23, you're going to be asked to dial *6 to unmute.
Hi, it's Roger again. I'm sorry. My computer is having technical difficulties. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, okay. My computer is having technical difficulties, and I cannot get into the chat. So is there any way that you can email me your email or how I can contact you guys? Sorry about that.
So Roger, I would recommend that you send us an email through our Barbara Cosmo link. It is on our website, which is barbaracosmo.ca.gov. Under the contact us, you can send us an email and put it attention Carrie Harris.
Okay, I've tried that to no avail. Neither one of you guys are listed under the contact.
No, just send it to the general email and it'll get to us.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Sorry about that again.
You're welcome.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Roger. Next, we're going to hear from Annie. Hold on just a moment, please. We're sending you a request to unmute your microphone.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Oh, okay. Hi, I'm a esthetician. I'm actually been licensed for like a year or so, but my question was, I'm wanting to go solo, like open my own studio. I actually did get a studio already. Is just I want to know what are the steps to take to where I won't be cited or anything. This is like my first time ever opening my own business. So I'm kind of like very blinded about this, but I want to do everything correctly. Um, and I want to be very professional about this. You know, um, uh, I want to ask, would I be able to open my own studio to where it is kind of connected to other studios? We share restroom for the clientele. Um, but I don't know like what if that's allowed. I'm not sure. You know, I'm here in California.
So it is, you would need to get an establishment license for your specific studio. So you want to apply for that. You can apply online for that establishment license.
Okay.
And when you get your establishment license, it's going to come with a lot of information for you to get started. One of the most important things that you and anyone on this call can do is go online and look at our self-inspection sheet. I will have one of our staff put that in the chat, where you can find that. So our self-inspection sheet is under forms. You can look at our forms tab and you'll find the self-inspection link. And it basically is going to walk you through everything that we look at when we do an inspection. Okay. So that's going to come with your establishment license as well. But to get started, I would go on our website and look at the self-inspection sheet. That's the most important thing you can do to make sure that your space is being maintained in an order that we would look at when we do an inspection.
Oh, okay. Okay. And you said you'll be putting that on the chat, right? The
Yes.
form. Okay,
Yes,
awesome.
and it's under our forms link in on our website as well.
Okay, so then other than getting my business license and my petition's name and all of that with the county, I still have to get a business, what was it that you said?
An establishment license.
Yes, there you go. I still have to get that.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, thank you. That was just my question.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, we're going to hear from caller 24, followed by Annette. Hold on, caller 24. You're going to be asked to dial *6 when I give you the prompt. In the meantime, all other callers, you may dial *3 to raise your hand. Okay, caller 24, we've sent you a prompt to unmute. You may need to dial *6. I see you've unmuted.
Hello, my name is Yanina Kuchilska. I'm having a trouble with renewing my California esthetician license. It says that I called the board and they're saying that my date of birth doesn't match the social security number. And I sent the email attaching my driver's license. So I received this call to this webinar, and in order to ask.
My apologies, caller 24. It was in order to ask what?
So I sent an email with my copy ID with the right date of birth. So I just don't know how to correct it. I see it's upon the board, but when I call the board, they say I need to get in touch with the board, but there is no jurisdiction where I can stop by and correct the date of birth, so I can renew my license.
Carrie, you want to take that?
Could you send an email to our Barber Cosmo at dca.ca.gov and make it to my attention, please?
I'm sorry, what's the email?
Barber Cosmo at dca.ca.gov.
So I already sent a couple emails, but I haven't get the response. I only got this webinar, so in order to ask the questions. So should I send it again?
Yes, and put it to attention Carrie Harris.
Attention, Carrie. What's the last name?
Harris, Harris.
Harris. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, caller 24. Next, we're going to hear from Annette. And just as a note, we've added the self-inspection link in the chat and the Barber Cosmo email address. Hold on, Annette. We're sending you a request to unmute your microphone.
Hi, thank you. Regarding body wraps and body contouring services with a vibrating machine, is that allowable through a cosmetology license or an esthetician license?
Probably not. I say probably not because it depends on what you're doing with those services. I can tell you body slimming is the practice of medicine. You are treating someone for either cellulite reduction, weight loss, that makes it go into the practice of medicine. Our licensees are licensed for beautification. And so there's a very thin line between what transfers over into practice of medicine. We would consider those the practice of medicine.
So if the body wraps were done in order to exfoliate the outer layers of the skin and then to rehydrate the skin, that would be acceptable for the body wrap.
Yes.
And if the contouring was done for bringing on circulation within the body towards the skin in order to nourish the skin cells, is that acceptable?
It's a fine line. If you're doing something to improve the appearance of the skin and it's skincare, then it would be acceptable. So what you want to make sure you do is be careful with how you are advertising. But again, if you're doing something that is a non-invasive procedure that stays along the epidermis and beautifies the skin, then it would be acceptable.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you, Annette. And next we have Mara. Hold on just a second. We're sending you a request to unmute your microphone.
My question is more about the application process, or if there is an issue with the application that is not to do with the proof of training. When we get a response email, there isn't the name of the person that's actually, well, there is the name of the person that's actually responding, but not their direct email to be able to answer them back with anything that they might need, like if they're lacking like a PDF of some sort, whether it's a criminal disclosure or anything else. It kind of gets lost into the general email, even if you are putting attention to the person that sent it, because they're also not sending it with their last name. So is there going to be a better process of this? I know last year, or sorry, a year and a half ago, before all regulations changed, we would actually be able to respond back to the person directly, and that no longer happens. So I think a lot of things are getting lost in translation and taking an excessive time for response.
Well, I can say that you're completely right on all aspects. I can tell you that we have some vacancies in our licensing unit, so sometimes we have to decide between processing applications and answering emails. So what we do is we try to sort those emails out to get quicker responses to people that we have asked for something, and we pull them out and put them into a direct response so that we can try to get to them quicker. But we actually receive about 800 emails every day. And then we receive more than that of applications a week. So it's just a balancing act that we are working on right now. We're always looking for improvements. So we hope that eventually we will have get back to our better response times in those emails, and hopefully we'll be able to shorten that down. We definitely understand that it's a problem, and we're working on trying to improve that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And my second question is regarding emergencies. I know that the board doesn't necessarily have a policy for an emergency in case a testee cannot make it to their test. But I do know that PSI, especially when we experienced it during COVID, did have some notices when it came to an emergency. What is your guys's aspects, or how do you treat a testee if they do have an emergency that makes it impossible for them to make it to their test that day with doctor documentation?
The exam would need to be rescheduled, unfortunately. We don't have any, I think there's a 24-hour window for PSI to cancel it.
Mhm.
And then within that, then we get charged for the fee. And so you would need to reapply, unfortunately.
Got it. Okay. That's not how PSI has it advertised. I had a personal circumstance with a student who it sounds like it's a BS story, but it totally, we had proof of it. Her son got bitten by a fruit bat the day that she was going to go to state board, an hour and a half before her test. The fruit bat had rabies. Her son had to get tested for rabies. We sent all of this information to PSI. And within those 24 hours, I called them ASAP, because we actually handle applying our students and basically hold their hands until they go to state board. So we contacted them, we did everything we could, and their response came back is, for this particular application, you have to contact the board. But we did everything within 24 hours. And I just think it's a little bit harsh to say that if a student has all that information, that they wouldn't be able to just reschedule their exam instead of these two companies keeping their money for their test.
I agree. It's something we can definitely look into and talk to the board about.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Okay, that looks like that's all of our requests for comment at the moment. Let's
All right.
remind our dial-in users that you can dial *3 to raise your hand. I'm sorry, Carrie. Go ahead.
We appreciate everyone joining us today. Like we mentioned earlier, we're going to try to do these more often. So if you think of something that you meant to ask, we'll have another one and we'll have that opportunity for you to ask us directly. And I just want to thank you all for taking this time today to spend it with us. We hope we were able to answer your questions and get you some information that will hopefully help you in the future and let you know that we are working on improvements, and hopefully you will all be seeing those as well. So with that, I don't see any more questions. So we're going to go ahead and close the meeting. And again, thank you so much, and keep your eyes out for our next town hall.
Thank you, Christy. I have added the PSI information to chat, and we're going to leave this open for just a moment longer. Oh, I see Annie would like to make a comment. Hold on just a moment, Annie.
Hello, I'm sorry to bother you guys, but I just wanted to see if you put on the link for where I could get the establishment license. I don't know if I see it there. I only see
We can post the Barber Cosmo website, and you'll see it right on our front page where you can apply online.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. Once again, thank you everyone for joining us today.
All right, we've posted those last couple of links in the chat, and we're going to leave the meeting open for just a couple of minutes to let everybody go through, read the chat, copy any links that you need to copy, and then we're going to close out. Thank you again, everyone.
Thank you.